Hey, what's up, rock stars? Welcome back to the channel. It's Rocks. All right, we haven't done a Let's Talk About It in a few weeks, so no time like the present. We've got some serious things to talk about, and I wanted to separate it out from top of the blog. So first, let's talk about the Haitian people at the border in Texas. We're going to talk about missing white girl syndrome, and then we'll wrap it up with Rona check-in. All right, let's talk about it. I'm sure everyone out there is aware of the border crisis. This isn't something that is new to the United States, although I believe it's probably at the worst state that it's ever been since, people have been trying to get into the United States. So this latest situation with the border crisis, we know that YSAP had put in place very strict rules about getting across the border. Remember, that was what he ran his whole platform on when he was running for president in 2016, that he was going to put up a wall that these people would not be able to get over or under or around, and it would keep the United States safe, because he said it was all the ones that where they were coming from, that they didn't want them anymore, so they were kind of sending them up this way. And so he had very strict rules in place. That always went against what the United States was known for: land of the free, home of the brave. We know that basically the United States was built with people coming from somewhere else and creating the United States, and opening arms to anybody that wanted to come over, wanted to migrate from where they were from, if they wanted like a better or a new life. So this border stance that Trump had, there were many people that wanted that to happen. It did not happen the way that he said. He did not build a wall. They did get some wall built, but nothing to the degree that he had promised those who voted for him. But anyway, those rules were still in place. Right when Joe Biden was elected president, he immediately started overturning and changing some of the rules that YSAP had in place. And one of them was a softening of letting illegals in at the border. And when he did that, that seemed to send a message to our neighbors below us that the United States was going to welcome them with open arms, and that they should make the sometimes very dangerous trek across the border, up to the border to try to get into the United States. I've talked about it in the past, people risking their lives, sending their children without even adults. It's crazy. Even the people that did my maybe I better not say that, you guys. Anyway, we've heard stories of people trying to come across the border in just very, like I said, very dangerous conditions. They could have pretty much lost their lives making that trek, but they made it up to the border, and then when they got there, then they had to meet with U.S. officials and all the others that were either shipping them back home or holding them there. Just a disaster. So most recently, we have had around 14,000 Haitians that have come and ended up in Del Rio, which is in Texas, at the border there. Actually, they're all underneath a bridge in Del Rio, and they're hoping to get into the United States. You guys have all seen the very devastating pictures. Those pictures are so, I don't even know what the word is. They're appalling. It is truly disgusting that in 2021, these type of images still, that someone would even allow themselves to be caught in an image like this. It doesn't take a genius to realize that these images bring back memories of the slaves. We see white men on horses with whips. I don't even understand why a whip would be, like Angela Rye said, why a whip would even be approved in the budget of a uniform for a Border Patrol agent. Why is it that you would need to even have a whip It's such an inhumane sight, and it's such an inhumane thing to use on someone. Without even thinking about, when it comes to these people coming across the border, just the human side of a person that could actually use a whip on a person is unfathomable. I can't understand why anybody would feel that they would even want to use this to try to control whatever uncontrollable situation that there is there. Like, it's just got to be a better way to handle these people. And the images are just harrowing to see these people, black people, being treated like cattle, okay? And maybe cattle might be even treated better, treated like just one of the lowest animals on this earth. I mean, the pictures are horrible. They're horrible. And, they were splayed all over media, all over the news. And black people, very understandably so, was super upset. Like, this is just unreal that something like this is even happening. And very disappointing that our government is participating in treating these people like this. I think everybody will agree that the border situation is a crisis. But there has to be a better way to handle these human beings who are, at the end of the day, just trying to look for a better life. Okay, and isn't that what the United States has built itself upon? The idea that you could come here for a better life and be free. So it's just a horrible, horrifying image to see. And just the terror on these people's face. I mean, you guys have all seen it, okay? You've all seen it. The Haitians basically are trying to leave home because of all of the turmoil that nation has been in. We know recently the president was killed, and that threw the government that was already in disarray into complete chaos. There is people there, that are suffering because of the earthquakes, the natural disasters that have happened there multiple times. It's not just this last one, but just, they can't even recover because they get hit all the time. And these people want to leave. When they get to the border, then this is what they face. Okay, just even more. And it's just an awful sight. I know you guys all saw Sonny Hostin. You guys saw Garcelle Bouvet and many other prominent Haitians that have been speaking out about this. Sonny did put it the most plain, though, that it's unfortunate that the government is treating these people like that. I just heard on the news before I came out that, around 1,400 people have already been sent back to Haiti to those conditions that I just described to you, when it shouldn't be that way. She compared it to the Afghans that we know that were also trying to get out of Afghanistan when the U.S. pulled out from that 20-year war. And the United States is making it a point to try to get those Afghans that want to come over to the United States, that have come over to the United States, making sure that they're here and that they're not sitting back and all of that. And Sonny said, yes, that should definitely happen because that's what the United States is. But why is it any different for these Haitian people? And we already know what it is. It is the color of their skin, that they're getting turned away. The same way that the Afghans came, the same way that we've got Canadians here in the United States as illegal. Do we even call Canadians illegal aliens in the United States? But the same way that those that have fair skin have been able to cross our borders. Remember, the United States is borders all the way around, okay? But if you come in from the Central America, from the bottom side, then it is a completely different situation. And the Haitians, like Sonny said, have been blamed for many, many ills of the world, unfairly so. You guys can read up on it. I told you guys before that I don't know much about the Haitian situation, but as things like this happen more and more, we start to find out that, you know, the Haitians seem to almost have been a scapegoat for many things that simply was not their fault, that they have been blamed for, which is not surprising considering they're Black people. And you guys know that we as Black people many times are blamed for things that we have absolutely no control or just didn't even have anything to do with. So yeah, it's a horrible situation. It makes you very, very disappointed in your government. I don't know what the White House is trying to do to make this better, but something has to happen. I mean, these people, sending them back cannot be the answer, and really just is not fair. As a matter of fact, I was reading in New York Times this morning that the diplomat that was assigned to Haiti right after the president was killed, you know, the U.S. diplomat who was, you know, assigned to the nation so that we could try to, you know, strengthen relationships between Haiti and the U.S., that diplomat has resigned, okay, and is citing that he does not agree with the way the United States are sending these people back to, like what I said, the deplorable situation that's going on in Haiti. I mean, the people are already here in the United States. You know, for you to make it a point to send them back, you know, there's an issue there. I know many people are saying the United States is full, and many people are saying that, you know, we don't have space and they need to go back. But I just wish that people would realize that there are so many way worse situations than what we face in the United States. I mean, even some of us who are the most poor in the United States still couldn't compare to the conditions that these people come from. And I believe that if people want to come to the United States, and that is what we've always preached, then why all of a sudden is it an issue when Black people are trying to come over here? I mean, even when you think about other races and the things that they face, you know, just trying to get over here, like, I have sympathy for everybody, but it just seems that the Black people are the only ones who have a problem, or the biggest problem, because we know that also in Central America, when they're trying to come up through Mexico, through California and all, then that's a situation as well. But yeah, you guys, it was just really awful to see those pictures, and I was embarrassed for the United States that, like I said, in 2021, that anybody would feel like it's okay to have those images out there, that they're captured in that way. Those Border Patrol agents ought to be fucking ashamed of themselves. They honestly need to go to jail, but they won't, because they were doing their jobs. Obviously, that was, you know, that was legal. That was required for the job. I mean, they have whips, you know. We ain't got them just to look good on our hips. So, yeah. Not a shining moment for the United States, and I'm curious to see what will happen to, you know, the people down there, how they intend on correcting this. You know, I just honestly don't know. I honestly don't know, but I'm just going to say we are going to definitely keep our eye on this. This is something that the media is definitely talking about. The story is too big for them to bury. So I'll keep my ears to the streets, and I'll let you guys know as you know, as I know more, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it's just an awful, embarrassing, disturbing. The way those people are being treated is just inhumane. All right, you guys, next story. So Joyanne Reed, she continues to keep her foot on the neck of anybody who decides to stretch their head out a little too damn far. Those who deserve it, Joyanne is going to be there to put her foot on it, okay? Most recently, she was on her show, The Readout, and she coined the term missing white woman syndrome. Actually, she didn't coin the term. She actually mentioned that there was a PBS anchor 20 years ago, Gwen Ifill. She is actually the one who coined the term missing white woman syndrome. I had absolutely no idea that there was actually a name to it. But I think that any of us that has lived any part of their lives in the United States, in the last 100 years anyway, will already have known that this syndrome that has an official name was an unofficial thing for years and years. I mean, for as long as I can remember. I mean, for as long as I've been alive, I should say. We know for a fact that missing white women get all of the glory and the media coverage, and it turns into a huge spectacle almost, the way the news media outlets, social media will pick up a story and will keep it at the front for all of us to know. Sometimes they can go on for months and months. It's not a surprising syndrome, and it's really just one of those sobering facts that Black people have to face. When we hear about it, we just be like, oh, well, she's white. And, they're talking in particular about Gabby Petito, who is the 23-year-old girl who was on a cross-country trip with her boyfriend, Brian. Oh, I don't think I put his name down. I know his first name is Brian. But she was on a trip across the country in a van, and somewhere along the line, the trip went bad. They were fighting. And when Brian came back home, he did not have Gabby with him any longer. Okay, she was reported missing. He did not get arrested. By the time they decided that they wanted him as a person of interest, he had left. Okay, he was evading the police, was not cooperating, wasn't talking to them. And like I said, once they officially said he was a person of interest, then he fled. They found her body soon after that. We still don't know where he is. Literally every day I hear something about this Gabby Petito case. Now, it is a very unfortunate case. And it's very sad that this girl lost her life, young girl on the road with her boyfriend. Many of you guys have seen the body cam footage that is out of the police that had pulled them over a couple of days before she ended up missing. They actually were fighting, and the police actually pulled him over and pulled him out the car and didn't pull him out physically, but had him get out and talk to him and all of this. So we already know that there was issue there. Many of us will say, why wasn't Brian ever a suspect? I mean, he was with her, and we know that there was a problem on the road out there, right? Just the story itself, the fact that this young white man wasn't even considered a suspect, we already know that had the tables been turned, it's been some Black people on the road. First of all, Black people don't even have the luxury of taking a cross-country trip. I mean, we can do it, but it ain't gonna be as comfortable for Black people to do that when you're going through some of these states. It's just something that we always have to be aware of. So, I don't want to get off track here, but what I'm saying is they didn't even consider him a suspect. So he was just walking free when everybody was just sort of like, it's obvious this boy done did something to this girl, right? Okay, that's neither here nor there. Like I said, it's unfortunate that she's lost her. All of that is awful. But what I am saying is that this type of media coverage and attention does not happen when Black people, and definitely when Black women go missing, very much in the same way. The Gabby Petito case, it grabbed the U.S.'s attention. And that case actually had 3 cover stories in the New York Times within less than a week. And not only did the New York Times grab hold to that story and just keep it out there for us to keep on remembering, and keeping Gabby's name out there, but all of the other major outlets did too. CBS News, ABC News, NBC News, BuzzFeed, CNN, Washington Post, USA Today. Everybody kept that story out there. And of course, when we saw what the girl looked like, which is a very pretty white girl, blonde hair, when you see the video, she's got you can already tell that it was about to be a big deal that this woman was missing. And it even blew up on social media. The hashtag Gabby Petito, as of yesterday morning, that hashtag received more than 800 million views. 800 million views. And that was just on TikTok. We're not talking about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. I mean, so you just know that this name is out there and people are seeing it over and over and over and over and over again. And why is that? Well, it goes back to the age-old reasoning, which is that when you look at the offices of these media outlets, when you look at the programmers, of the producers, of the people that are putting those stories out there, nobody is black. Nobody is a person of color. Okay, you have middle-aged white women who are putting these stories out. These stories mean something to them. Okay, they can relate to this girl, young girl on, out there on the road with her boyfriend getting killed. And so they are the ones that continue to put these stories out there. What is important to them is what they put out there. If you don't, I mean, they don't care about black people. And it's not a story that they feel is so important that the whole world would need to know. Black people don't get this type of coverage, even though they disappear at a disproportionately higher rate. For example, the University of Wyoming did a study, and they said that from 2011 to 2020, there were 710 indigenous people that were reported missing in the state that Gabby her remains were found in. They said that 57% of those people were women, and they said that 85% were children. So yes, definitely it is a real thing that black people's disappearance, and I mean, people don't just disappear usually. Okay, 95% and probably higher than that, people don't just disappear. They are gone for a reason. And those people deserve to be looked for, and they deserve just the same amount of coverage that anybody else that's missing, because these people still have families who care about them the same way that a Gabby would, or a Lacey Peterson would, or the others. So I admire Joy-Ann Reid because she's out there and she's definitely saying the things that kind of just throws it in the face of white media. We need to protect Joy-Ann at all costs, okay? Because she is talking about controversial issues that so far not many of our black media people have talked about, have played it safe, and I'm not blaming them, because everybody does what they feel most comfortable with. But what I'm saying is Joy-Ann Reid is definitely out there making differences, bringing things to our attention, keeping folks aware, and things that black people already knew and maybe everybody else just didn't know or didn't care to know. So I love the fact that she has her show, and I hope she continues on. But you guys, didn't you know about missing white woman syndrome? Did you know it had a name? Yeah, I didn't either. Okay, you guys, and then lastly, a Rona check-in. Just want to check on my rock stars. We're not going to stay on this long. You guys already know the situation. Every week is worse, you guys. I'm going to give you some numbers, so hold on one second. All right, you guys, as of September 22nd, we've had 130,000, sorry, on September 22nd, I always get that mixed up. We had 130,592 cases, so that's in one day. Okay. We've had, actually, it looks like that actually has gone down 12% in the last 2 weeks. So that might be, people may be getting vaccinated, I'm not sure. But we had on September 22nd, 2,075 deaths, which is actually up 35% in the last 2 weeks. So not as many cases, but the death toll is rising. So far, the United States citizens are 55% fully vaccinated. 12 years and up, 64% vaccinated. 65 years old and up is 83%. So our senior citizens are doing what they need to do. It's just the other group that's making it a little bit more difficult. At least one dose, 64% of all ages have had. at least one dose. So we still have 36% that are either undecided or not going to get the vaccine. The number slowly seems to be increasing. 55% is still very much lower than the target that they wanted to hit. I think they wanted to be at 74% or something like that. So that's not good. But let's talk about these vaccines, you guys, because there's been a lot of talk about booster shots. I just actually saw this morning on Good Morning America, they were talking about Pfizer now offering a third booster shot. Right now it's just available to senior citizens, I think 65 years old and older, or if you have like a severe health issues that will, that you need to be protected against the coronavirus, then you also could get the vaccination, the booster shot, and it's only Pfizer. Okay, so those of you guys who have Moderna right now they're not offering a booster. There is also talk that Johnson & Johnson is going to eventually offer a booster. Now they're saying that 2 shots of the Johnson & Johnson vaccination worked better than just the 1 dose. Okay, but that is not like official yet. They haven't said that. But I did hear that's what is being tossed around about the Johnson & Johnson. I think also those who are like first contact workers who come into contact with, those who are high risk of having coronavirus. So like healthcare workers and the such, they also will be able to get the booster. The CDC is going to give their official ruling today on this matter. However, healthcare providers can still make the decision to give the booster if they want to, the booster shot. So they don't have to wait on the CDC to give them the okay on this one. The numbers for children, I'm sorry, I did not get that, but the numbers for the children that are getting coronavirus are rising. We're starting to hear more and more about schools shutting down. And there's still like this hot raging debate over the mask mandate. I still feel like if you are adamant that you don't want to get the vaccine, then I feel that you should be required to wear a mask. And I just will continue to say that every week. I mean, we should all be wearing a mask, but definitely those who haven't been vaccinated, to protect yourself and others. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna stall y'all out on all of the talk, but I do feel a responsibility to talk about coronavirus every week, because it's out there and we cannot hide from it. We've got to learn how to live with it, okay? Especially with the numbers being where they are. So just want everybody to make the best decisions for themselves. Be safe out there, you guys. All right, you guys, that is it. Let me get on. Still have to do top of the blogs, you guys. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm It's Rocks. The channel is It's Rocks. Everything else I do should be down in the bottom bar eventually, you guys. And I am going to move it on along. So make sure that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, rock stars. Bye.